Good day, everyone. I'm Juliana Mayra Histogar from BPED2C, and for today's video, I'll be talking about the theories and principles in the use and design of technology-driven lessons. So, in the 21st century teaching profession, it emphasizes and requires more competencies, which incorporates the growing demand on the use of technology in the classroom as well as the society. So, the idea of teaching methods and techniques used in teaching and learning processes in the use of ICT is enabled to replace the cultural and traditional way of teaching and learning. So, now I will introduce to you the five theories and principles in the use and design of technology driven lessons. So first, we have the Edgar Dale's cone of experience. Next is the TPAC model, or what we call as the technological pedagogical content knowledge model. Next is the SAMR model, or what we call as the substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition model. Next is the Bloom's digital taxonomy model, and lastly is the Asuri model. So to start with, let me first discuss to you about Edgar Dale's cone of experience. So, Dale's cone of experience is a model that incorporates several theories related to instructional design and learning processes. So, during the 1960s, Edgar Dale theorized that learners retain more information by what they do as opposed to what is heard, read, and observed. So his research led to the development of the cone of experience. So as shown in this diagram, it is the Edgar Dale's cone of experience. So today, this learning by doing has become known as the experiential learning, or what we call as the action learning. So according to Dale's research, the least effective method is located at the topmost part. So it involves learning from information presented through verbal symbols, listening to spoken words, and so on. While the most effective method is located at the bottom part, which involves direct purposeful learning experiences, such as hands-on or field experiences. So direct purposeful experiences represents reality or the closest thing to real everyday life. So that's all for Edgar Dale's cone of experience. So now let's move on to the second model, which is the technological pedagogical content knowledge model. So this model illustrates what is expected of teachers in modern, increasingly distinguished world. So it is an essential part of the education system today as it incorporates the growing demand on the use of technology in the classroom as well as the focus and the content of how we teach it. So millennial students work better through technology and quite often find the content and direct teaching quite stale. Therefore, by adding the technology component to the already existing PCK model, the students became more engaged into their learning. So, we as future educators, it is important to be completely up to date and knowledgeable with the curriculum and the components of the TPAC model to effectively incorporate it into their lessons. So shown in this diagram is the TPAC model. So now, let's move on to the next model, which is the SAMR model. So it offers a method of seeing how computer technology might impact teaching and learning. It can help educators think about the role of technology in supporting learning. SAMR is an acronym that stands for Substitution, Augmentation, Modification, Redefinition. So this framework is created by Dr. Ruben Pindatura that categorizes four different degrees of classroom technology integration. It shows a progression that adapters of educational activity often follow as they progress through teaching and learning with technology. So, computer technology becomes more important in the classroom, but at the same time became more invisibly woven into the demands of good teaching and learning. So, moving on to the next model, we have the Bloom's Digital Taxonomy model. So, the purpose of Bloom's digital taxonomy is to inform instructors of how to use technology and digital tools to facilitate student learning experiences. So, it aims to extend upon the skills associated with each level of technology becomes a more ingrained essential part of learning. So, Bloom's digital taxonomy helps us navigate through the myriad digital tools and make choices based on the kinds of learning experiences we want students to engage in. So, knowledge is situated, being in part a product of the activity, context, and culture in which it is developed and used. This way, we can begin to ascertain differences that will help instructors apply the right tool to the right learning goals. So now let's move on to the last model, which is the Azure model. So Azure model is an instructional design model that has the goal of producing more effective teaching and learning. So this model is composed of 6 essential steps in planning instruction. So first, we have analyze learners. Next is state objectives. Then select methods, media, and materials. Utilize methods, media, and materials. Then require learner participation. And lastly is to evaluate student performance. So the main perspective of the Esri model is in how to integrate media into instruction in a method capable of producing the desired learning outcomes. So by following the Esri process, it will help you to improve your teaching for many years to come. So that's all for the theories and principles in the use and design of technology-driven lessons. So those models that has been tackled can actually help the way of learning and teaching easier. It can also help us to engage in more complex and develop our way of understanding and learning. Most importantly, teachers must know what is the appropriate methods and teaching strategies that should be used in a certain lesson or activity. So, that's all for this video. Again, I'm Juliana Mirahis Dagar from BPED 2C.